Jody. Hi, Karen. Sandy, I hope you heard me. Good, good, good.
Just waiting for the live streaming to come up here. It looks like we are now live. Now we don't have Craig here today with us. He's celebrating Yom Kippur. So he will be out today, but I believe he'll be with us tomorrow. I don't remember if he said that he would or not. But you guys do have me hosting today, and we do have the guy that's the dude you're here to ask questions to, my amazing and incredible dad, Robert Hollis. For anybody that's new here, this dude's one of the most documented and successful mentors as far as marketing goes, multi-level marketing, affiliate marketing. I mean, damn, the amount of different people that you've helped also outside of those businesses build businesses, just insane. What is it? Over 66 millionaires
67
now?
now.
67? That's
Whoop, whoop.
insane. So it continues to grow. Like there's always brand new people learning and taking stuff to the next level. But what this is today is the opportunity for you guys to ask this incredible mentor and gentleman any questions you want, right? And these could be marketing based questions. They could be based around, I don't know, some people here are trading, I've heard. So maybe if you guys have some questions about that. Apparently there's this large, big, awesome couple of events that are about to happen too that are very, very exciting. So I'm sure you have some announcements and some things to share about that as well, Dad, since
You
that's
bet.
coming up. So to raise your hand or ask a question, there's a button at the bottom of this screen somewhere where you can raise your hand here in Zoom and ask a question. We're also live on YouTube, so you guys could type in and ask your questions on there or type them in and ask them here on Zoom as well. So if you don't feel comfortable like unmuting yourself or being on camera, still ask your question because we all get value out of you doing that here and having the ability for Robert Hollis to answer them. So with that said, Dad, I'm going to throw it over to you. Do you have anything that you want to talk about or anything that you want to
Yeah,
share with
yeah.
everybody here?
Two of them really quickly. This is not going to be a long AMA. I'm a extreme mixed martial arts fan, so they start at 2. So this will only last for a little under an hour. And then the other thing I just want to share with you guys, with all the new people that I'm bringing on that literally know nothing. It's like two of them are super, super young. They're 18 years of age. So it's like I try to explain to them what it is that I do. And if someone wanted to pin it down, my mentors taught me how to imagine. I'll bring that up over and over and over again. The reason why is if you don't get someone to imagine their life better than what it currently is for them and their family, they'll just keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. So that's like the definition of insanity, according to Albert Einstein. Always wishing things would change, always hoping things will change, always complaining that you want things better. They just don't. And the reason they don't is because you're using the same energy in psychology that got you to where you are right now. And you're continuing to use that in a repetitive place. So I always want to tell every one of you, I'll give you a couple of examples. If you really took credit, listen closely. If you really took credit for all the wonderful things in your life right now and realized it was just your imagination that created them. So I remember when I was really, really young, there was this point in my life where, one day you don't have any clue really what a driver's license is. Right? Your parents are taking you, you go on a bus or public transportation, and you just end up at the places that you're supposed to be. And it's usually someone just saying, hey, get on the bus, get on the train, get in the car, get out of the car. You're just, going through life that way. Then one thing happens is you know of somebody, you don't need to know them, but you know of somebody that's driving. Why didn't you ever think this about your parents or grandparents? Isn't that weird? You see someone at school driving by, and I'm like, is that Sandy? Was that Sandy driving that car? And people go, yeah, that's Sandy. And immediately you go, well, if Sandy can get her own car, why can't I get my own car? You ever listen to really young kids? Really young kids go, I want a PlayStation. And you go, why? Because Jimmy has a PlayStation. It's when other people have things, it creates our imagination to say, how can I get that? And you start thinking. Now, if you happen to be around people that are taking care of you and they tell you that they can't afford it, you find out, okay, to get this, apparently you need money. They sell this thing at the store, or in our day, they sell it on the internet. So now what you do is you go discover the price of what it is. And then you start imagining where you can get the money. Now, guess where money comes from? Money comes from other people. Dogs don't have a wallet, right? So now you got to figure out, wow, well, how did Sandy get the money? Well, Sandy's got a job. What? Yeah, Sandy works at this business. I didn't know that you could get a job and make money. You really can do stuff for other people. And with the skills and the labor that you use, in turn, they'll give you money. Yeah. Damn. There's a solution to my problem. And I think that if you went back and looked at all the things that you've enjoyed in your life and just really realized the simple steps that you took to get those things, you'd be very, very surprised on how powerful you are. Imagination is the most miraculous, inconceivable, powerful thing in the world. According to Einstein and Mark Twain and a lot of successful people, they always say imagination is way more important than knowledge. Because instead of looking for resources, we're taught, I wish someone would give me money. I wish someone would do this for me. I wish the government would do this for me. I wish, people would do this for me. If you thought in another way of how can I be resourceful? How can I be resourceful? Because you always can see we become who we hang around. And I really love the Latin people because from the time that they're young, they're always looking at everyone they know doing side hustles to make extra money to get the things they need for them and their family. And so I love when the Latinos come to me and they go, listen, is there anything I can do for you? Is there anything you're currently not doing that I could do for you in exchange for money? They don't come up to people and say, will you give me money? They just add one sentence in there. Is there anything I can do for you right now? Can I wash your windows? Can I wash the outside of your house? Can I do your lawn? And so when I grew up, it was like money was easy. You could shovel someone's sidewalk, you could mow their lawn, you could wash their car. And if you're willing to give initiative, people will give you money in return. So now when we become adults, we just stop imagining. We just start complaining about our current situation, and we wish and hope that someone would make it better. Instead of just saying, what could I do to make this better? How can I become more resourceful? So I became a mechanic because I seen two brothers working in a garage building race cars. And I thought, man, not only does Sandy have a car, but what if I had a car and it was like a souped up car? And I put my imagination in gear and I went to a like convenience store. We didn't have big stores when I was young, and they had a hot rod magazine in there. And I seen where Grumpy Jenkins, this guy, took a big block, small block Chevy motor and put it into a small Vega. And I went, if he did it, why can't I do it? And so at the age of 15, I put a 350 Corvette motor in a Vega. So now when I drove to school, everybody was like, what the hell? And so my whole life, it's been easy for me to look at what other people have, more their lifestyle than their income. See, I love watching people help other people. I love watching people do anything for other people. I really love watching people do things for children that can't help themselves. And so I always went, wow, if I ever had more money than I need to live, I'd give it to children because I was an orphan. As soon as I made that flip in my mind, all I needed to do is be introduced with people that had a larger imagination than I had. And so every one of you, if you're having difficulty learning something right now, learning to trade, learning a different language, learning anything, learning how to market on social media, all you got to do is imagine. Did you guys catch that? So if you're not emotional about your imagination, do you realize that I can see your guys' faces on this Zoom? And I can tell people that didn't connect with their imagination this morning. It's written all over your face. So instead of being imaginative of something that you could do great for other people or your family, you spent your imagination either not imagining or imagining bad things. Because imagination works the same way. So some people get up and they didn't have a good night, and they got up this morning and they're imagining, oh my God, and then they imagine worrying, and then they imagine not being able to be in the financial situation or the freedom situation to help people they want to help. This hasn't been your first journey here. This is a repeating thing that every time something bad happens in the world, you're again in a place not to be able to serve and help because you didn't have an imagination to go, hey, listen, if this ever happens again, I want to be in a financial place and a freedom place to help those people. Because the one thing I know for a fact is there always are bad things happening in the world. Have you guys figured this out yet? There's even bad things that happen for years and years and years, and also bad things that happen for thousands of years and thousands of years and thousands of years. And people spend all their time imagining why I can't help these people or why is there so much injustice in the world. Instead of just simply imagining, if it's to be, it's up to me. I got to prove and inspire others that I can do something for myself and my family. And then I'll help the people in my little circle. And then from there, those people will be inspired and help that little village or that little neighborhood. It all starts with you. So that's the only opening statement I wanted to make today, because now that I'm 62 and I've done very little, I feel like I haven't done anything in life. And even though the rest of the world in comparison says to me that I have done a lot, I have not done a lot. Did you guys catch that? I still believe that I have millions and millions of people I need to help. And I don't need to be sitting around thinking about being helpless in my current situation, because that doesn't help people that I need to help in the future. So like Matt said, if you guys have any comments, any questions about anything, I'm just telling you that I'm right now hanging around a lot of very young kids. I call them kids, that if they're in their 20s, they're kids. And when I start telling them imagination, they get it. They get it right away. They're already telling me, oh my God, I'm going to have millions of people. I'm going to be an influencer. I'm going to have a big YouTube channel. I'm going to travel the world, and I'm going to use my phone, and I'm going to stay at, 5-star resorts. And they're mad. Do any of you remember being kids? The only difference with these kids is I want them to actually live the things they're talking about instead of just thinking about them. And so one of the things I see people fall into the trap all the time is, I was sharing with this kid today, and he said, I need to find a way to borrow the money so I can get in Akashics to get the funding so I can create a story. And I said, wow, that's the same mentality that 99% of the people use in the world to stay poor. And he went, what? And I said, are you a believer? And he goes, I am. And I said, don't you find it interesting to get other people to believe you're always telling success stories about a couple of other people? Because you sure wouldn't share your story. What has that higher power done for you? Are you wealthy? Have you helped a lot of people? I'm 18 years old. There's a lot of 18-year-olds and youngers that have made an impact on millions of people. And then what do they think? They immediately go, yeah, but if someone would just give me money. No, if you're really good at telling somebody else's story, people will throw money at you. It's not about your story. It's about somebody else's story. And he came back and he goes, I hang around a lot of good people, and I've never heard that. I said, yeah, my mentor just said, say as little as possible to as many people as you can, as fast as you can, and talk about my success story and the people that I helped. And I went, you know what? I can do that. Now, was I naive? Yeah. I did say, what if they ask me questions? That's a broke, poor, unhappy mentality. Why did you make it about you? Because we're taught to do that. We're taught to do that. It's like, well, what if they ask me a question? Well, what if you don't know the answer? I go, that's a bad deal. He goes, no, it's not. That was taught to you in school. Not having the right answer was a bad place in school. In life, not knowing the answer is the best thing in life. So someone asks you a question, you go, I don't know. All I know is tell a success story. I don't know. All I know is tell a success story. I don't know. All I know is tell a success story. So why do you believe that most people don't try to witness or bring people to their religion? Because they're selfish. Listen closely. Well, I don't really talk to people about my belief in my religion, because what if they ask me, well, how has it helped you? Holy, if they ask me, how is it helping me? I would go, I just feel better. So you're a believer and you drive that car? You're a believer and you don't own a home? You're a believer and you're not free? I don't need that. I don't need that belief. I'm a believer and I'm not happy. What? What? I don't get it. You're miserable and you're depressed and you're a believer? I don't want to be miserable and depressed. So then we don't talk to people about our beliefs because we're not experiencing our imagination. Because we stopped imagining, we start wishing, and we start hoping. Hey, you know what? You can make a lot of money and quit your job. Yeah, I'm. That would be that would be nice. I wish that would happen. I hope that would happen. So for 37 years, I had a person tell me to tell other people's success stories, and I've done it. And now I get to tell a bunch of success stories of people that I've intersected with. My quick question for all of you. If someone said to you, give me a couple of names of people that if I asked them who was the defining person in their life, they would say your name. Wow. Wow, I don't know anybody. That's because you made it about you and not about somebody else. So it's fun to talk to young kids and they go, I got it. I got it. And then I talk to older people and they're like, nah, I don't, it's not making any sense to me. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing.
I got a question for you, Dad, based off of what you're sharing.
Please.
Why do you think that is? Like, do you think it's a lack of ego when you're younger or humility? Because like obviously some people that are young have massive egos as well, right? So, but it's
That
it's
is
always
interesting.
interesting because it's like when I'm talking to people about AI, it's like young people are all about it. And yet you talk to when I have to deal with older people or talking to them about it, they're so against it because it's like so new, I guess. Most are,
Wow.
right?
Well, I still truly believe, Matt, that everything we become is based on the imagination and the environment that's around us. And so I would say that, yes, you probably would run into very young kids that might have a what I would call a healthy ego or a healthy competitive state because their imagination's still in gear and the world hasn't beat their ass down. What I believe is the difference between young people and old people is people that are a little older just have had the shit knocked out of them more than a younger person. So
Yeah,
they've
it's
had
kind of
people
like
already say you're not smart enough and you grew up in the wrong area or you're the wrong sex or you've never been smart. You didn't go to university. I still run into people all over the world that, especially in Europe, that it's important for them to tell me that they've gone to university. Can you imagine that? Hey, Lisa Marie, nice to meet you. Yeah, I'm Lisa Marie and I went to university. It's like it's very important for people in Europe to let you know that they went to university. And I've jokingly, if you guys know me, hang around, I went, and you're in university and you're not financially set yet? You're still working for somebody else and you went to university? I thought you people go to university to learn what to do. And they don't know how to answer that. Well, they did go to the university to learn what to do. They learned to work for somebody else. And the professors actually have a job. So you become who you hang around. Ah, what's the best thing for an educated person? To become a professor, to get a PhD and teach other people. That's the pinnacle of an educational, right? It's like, hey, I got multi-masters, multi-PhDs, and I also teach at university. It's like, well, okay. So great question, Matt. It really is because I believe two things happen too, Matt. Is awareness. Have you guys ever heard someone say something incredibly stupid, but it still got you to think? There's this guy, he even claims it. He says he's the hillbilly mixed martial artist. So he did so well in mixed martial arts that he got Dana White, the founder and president, to actually come up with camouflage shorts to wear in the octagon. That's how redneck this guy is. So he's talking to a guy, and the guy goes, I heard you saying some stuff about the universe and stuff. And he goes, oh, yeah, like people actually believe that the earth is rotating at 25,000 miles an hour. It is not rotating. The guy went, okay. He goes, let me prove it to you. He goes, man, I'm glad you said that. He says, you get in a helicopter and you put it in hover mode and you hover up about 15,000 feet and you hover and you don't go 1 mile an hour north, south, east, or west. You're just hovering. You stay up there for 4 or 5 hours and then you come right back down to earth and you can land in the same place that you took off. Let that play with your mind. Because if you're up in the air, the earth should be spinning underneath you and you should land someplace else. And I just seen everyone on the podcast go, he goes, can anyone prove me wrong? And that's a time that you would want like Neil deGrasse Tyson there. But man, he was the smartest person in the room, but he was telling bullshit, but no one could correct him. Matt, thanks for bringing up that question, because that's the way I feel about 99% of the people on the planet. They have no clue, they're unaware, and they listen to other people that are very convincing. So I still have people come up to me and go, hey, I heard that stuff that you do doesn't work. And I'm like, I'm not giving the money back. I'm not giving it back. This company sends me millions of dollars a year, and I'm not giving the money back. And they go, what do you mean? I said, if you say it doesn't work, then I'd have to give the money back. Hey, I do have a funny story. Yesterday, Terry and I, after 20 years, bought a used vehicle yesterday. We've always bought brand new vehicles. Every 2 years, we lease a vehicle and we write it off on our taxes, got taught by some very, very wealthy people. And that's what we done. So yesterday, we went down and got approved for a used car. Now, why do you guys think this is funny? I'll tell you why. We ordered our new Escalade almost a year ago. And for whatever reason, they just are keeping supply and demand where it needs to be. So our lease ran out on our 2001 Escalade, and it's got 8,800 miles on it.
You mean 2021?
Oh, what did I say?
Or is it, you said 2001, just to make it clear.
2021, yeah. And of course, we bought it at the end of what? 2020. You know, so yeah. This is when everyone can't buy anything during the COVID. We bought an Escalade. So we couldn't get a new one to trade the new old one in on the new one. So we had to sit down at the dealership yesterday and buy the Escalade that we've been driving for the last 8,800 miles. Until
so
the new ones come out.
It was funny because yesterday when you said that in chat, you're like, he sent us a message. He's like, me and Terry are out buying a used vehicle right now. And I'm like thinking through my mind and I'm going, used by you guys, like nobody else. Maybe Kyle's driven it a couple
So
times, but
it was funny because I guess when you do that, we were in a little bit of negotiation stuff with the dealership. So we drive the Escalade there. It's got 8,800 miles. You can't put more on a Sport Platinum Escalade than what we have. We always order it with everything on it. And we're sitting down there and they go, well, by rights, you have to sell it to us and we have to sell it back to you. And I said, okay, I want 120,000 for it. And they go, no, that's what you bought it for. And I go, yeah, I'm going to get my money out of it. And he goes, I've never had anybody tell us they wanted what they paid for the vehicle when it's a couple of years old. And I go, but I'm not an idiot. So I'm starting high because I know you're going to start high. I said, now in the back of the website, when I press on it, it says the payoff is 60,000. And he looked at me, this young kid named Carter, and he goes, I'll be right back. And he introduces me to the general manager. And I go, this is the payoff on the vehicle. Yeah, that's what you can have it for. The guy was just like, okay, I give up. It was funny. And so I looked at this Carter before I even started negotiating. And I said, when we purchase this vehicle, because it was a lease, are you going to make any commissions on it? And he goes, no. And he goes, why did you ask that? No one asked that. And I said, because when I get this vehicle for exactly what I want it for, I didn't want it to hurt your commission. And he goes, no, I just get a check mark. So it was pretty funny. God, we ended up having to spend like 3 hours down at that dealership. But that was a new one for me. That's the nicest used vehicle I've ever bought. 8,800 miles on a brand new Escalade Platinum. That was a good deal. So just a funny story. So you keep learning and you keep figuring things out. And Matt, let's go to some questions.
yeah, no, I was gonna say too, and with where technology is going, odds are your next vehicle that you get won't even have a steering wheel in it. So
yeah. Well, the other vehicle we have has a half a steering wheel.
Right, that's true. The Tesla has a half steering wheel. Well, with that said, thank you so much for sharing all of that, Dad.
You bet.
And I just find it funny. Like you always find funny ways to tell stories, and I think that's one of the things everybody really likes about being on here is like you find out. I don't know. Not everyone can tell like a good story and keep everyone entertained and laughing, and that's one of your unique skills that hopefully, I mean, I feel like you passed down to me. So,
well, I know I did. I know I did. You were forced to listen to it your entire life.
I still am. So
yeah.
Here I am. So with that said, we're going to get into the Ask Me Anything part of this. Once again, to raise your hand, there's a button at the bottom to raise your hand. You could also post your questions in chat and I can pass them along. Now, we do only have like about 30 minutes here to answer questions. So we already have 2 hands up. So we'll see how this goes. But maybe if anybody else is in here, we can squeeze a couple more people in towards the end. So with that said, the first person that had their hand raised was Tom. Tom, I'm going to ask you to unmute. You with us, Tom?
Let me unmute. So there I am.
Hi,
How's it going, Tom?
How are you doing, Robert?
I'm blessed and highly favored and deeply loved. How are you?
That's good to hear. Yeah, blessed and highly favored and deeply loved. Very fortunate man. So yeah, I think I've got more miles on my tennis shoes than you have on that Escalade. So you got to drive it more.
Yeah, well, Terry, really. Once we got the Tesla Plaid S, that's her little go-kart. You know what I mean? So the only reason the Escalade sits in the garage is sometimes we get up here and there's a bunch of snow in the driveway and she doesn't feel comfortable driving the Tesla.
I was going to say she has a car for each season. So like the Tesla through spring and summer, she's been going hardcore on the Tesla, but now that winter's coming, even though the Teslas drive great in the snow too, being in one of those big trucks definitely makes you feel a little bit better going on the ice and on the snow. So,
yeah.
Be safe. Yeah. I do have a comment about Kajiks, but just real quick before, when I was in the university, I guess my professors, they really didn't have any imagination because they hated the fact of what I wanted to do, to have a singing career, and would mention, oh, I'm going to go sing at the Met. And they were very hostile. I mean, I had a lot of conflict over that. And
Crazy.
but
Crazy.
they picked the wrong person because I know how to push back in a very brutal way. And I
Good for you,
did.
man.
But I just couldn't understand it. Said, hey, you've got tenure, you've got security. What are you worried about? I'm not here to compete with anybody. I'm trying to, chart my own path. But that was disappointing. Later, when I went to the conservatory, that's everyone was there for the same reason. So it was going through a different environment, and then their imagination was, expected,
Right.
and
Right.
nurtured. So anyway, I just been playing around a little bit, and maybe if Arthur's on there, he's welcome to chime in with his observation. I had noticed a few times when I took Tap for Trade with Joel that worked. He always had like 0.24 on the lots, and I'd always been doing 0.01. And so I'd make I think of the last 12 trades that I did, I won 9 of them. But the one that I took with Joel, I won like $160. So that began I'm almost about $90 back to 25,000. I
Right.
slipped under about $400. It's getting very frustrating. And so now and mostly I go and pick out my own trades. I just look at what's running, and I usually go with gold, and then I just pick what it looks like is going up, and I hit a buy, and I just wait it out. And when I see there's a profit, I take it and I get out. So I don't.
You scare me, man.
I do that every time, but I've always been winning them, and sometimes they start going down, then they come back, and it's back, boom, I'm out of it. So
wow,
that makes me nervous. But I have noticed if I'll put in, instead of 0.01, 0.24, I do much better. I'll make $20 or $30 rather than like 90 cents.
Got it.
And so I think, and I look for the Tap for Trades from Joel or whoever, but I don't seem to see him too often. I don't know. I'm not watching it the whole day. So I don't know if what Arthur thinks of me putting in that higher amount. I mean, I guess that's part of the now I'm forgetting what the that first trade system starts with an F that he has. It's pretty close. I think he does it 0.22, but I just did 0.24 because I noticed the ones that I tapped with him were 0.24.
I was gonna say, Arthur, Dad, are you fine if I bring Arthur? Arthur, do you want to come on?
I have no problem whatsoever. The only thing I was going to say to Tom is that it's amazing how fast people like Arthur and other people, and I'll let Arthur speak for himself, but it's funny that people that are really passing the challenge fast and also being in profit, that they immediately went away from Tap and Trade, and they're just doing the copy paste, following Joel's strategy. And so that's why we recorded the video of Joel. You know what I mean? So I did a video with Joel, then Joel in there talks about the videos you need to watch. Matthew went out of his way and actually really pinpointed these videos and put them on our YouTube channel. And then on top of that, it's the same video that I used. I got Joel to do a translation for my Hungarians. And now I got my Hungarians that are winning challenges like crazy. So it's I've seen people that are winning their challenge and getting into profit that just started to go toward Joel's live sessions and also Joel's education more than Tap and Trade. So Arthur, please.
So your first question about the 0.24 lots, can you hear me, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Arthur. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Congratulations for maintaining #1 on the leaderboard.
I'm staying there.
I was going to say, can we not? We have to say something about that, right?
Yeah. Not only staying on the leaderboard, it's like he got challenged when Jenna, took #1 away from him. I think maybe she had it for like 4 hours. I don't remember just how long she had it, but it put Arthur in. And I've heard this my whole life. Anyone that makes 10% on their money are like geniuses. And so to log into TradeX Mastery and see Arthur at 15%, even when I know he's already withdrawn over $10,000, it's just it's impressive. It's super impressive. So go ahead and finish, Arthur.
Um, I got a story after that. You just reminded me, but uh, as far as what your question was about the 0.24, when you get a tap to trade, it's going to risk 1% of your account. So it doesn't mean that you are wanting to risk that. Still maintain your risk management of what you would do on a tap to trade or on a trade alert. So you have to figure, he's not going to win them all. He's currently at a 77 or 78% win rate. So there's a good chance that 22% of the time you're going to lose that money. So if you risk 1%, that's a huge loss for you. So maintain risk management even on the tap to trades. But I would do the tap to trades, stick to those because right now he's at over 11% fund growth. If you just stuck to just the tap to trades, you'd already be past phase one. So you'd be done with stage one if you just did his tap to trades, and that's it.
Sandy was either making a gesture or going after a fly. Sorry. Sorry.
On his tap to trades, he's using the flash plan. So
Yeah.
he is looking for the quick profits for the $3, $5, $8 movement in gold, and then he's closing it out and he's on to the next one. When I got started, there was no flash plan. There was just the master plan and the reversion plan. So I did the master plan, and that's what I did after I passed my challenge, was I still did the master plan until I built up enough equity in my fund, and then I switched to the master plan or the flash plan, because with the flash plan, you have a little bit more risk. You're putting a little bit more larger lot size out there, risking a little bit more of your account. So if you don't feel comfortable risking that amount, stick to the master plan.
Yeah, that makes sense. I do watch, the little whether it's plus or minus, if it looks like it's going down, if I go down more than like $3 to $5, I close it out, because I do see a lot of the time that looks like a downward trend that continues quite a bit. Not always, it can reverse, but
here's the thing to think about, and this is what I do in the morning, before and throughout the day. Usually it's usually after I get a tap to trade or a trade alert, or in between kind of that time, I'll go back in there under the resources tab. There's trend analysis. So click that, go down to gold and see what the trends are, because that's going to tell you what all of the indicators. It's going to say strong trend on the 5-minute, strong trend on the 15-minute, strong trend on the 1 hour. That means that gold is going to go up. So take the tap to trade that Joel is going to send out, and I have a feeling he's going to send one out soon. That's how I know. I'm like, oh, he's going to send one out because it's above the median price. It's hitting the top range of the Bollinger Bands. That gold is going to still continue to go up.
It's good. I had one other quick question, then I'll go. And you mentioned something about reading the FAQs, and I can't find where they are.
Just go to tradexmastery.com. Go down at the bottom. There's FAQs down there.
Okay, great. I'll check again and try to find it. I guess I've been looking on the wrong place for that. So,
right.
All right. Very good. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Arthur, for
you bet. Great question, Tom.
All right.
Arthur, I got a quick question. I got a quick question for you. You guys are going to find this really crazy when I ask this question. Is that people ask me questions and I don't know the answers. Can you guys actually, how do you guys probably are going, how does he even, how does he make it in life? That people ask me questions and I don't know, because I don't know a lot of stuff. But the funny thing is, Arthur, is that once you're funded, and now that you're funded, you've won it, and you've also pulling funds off of it. Is there still somehow you can lose that account?
Yes.
I
didn't know that. He goes,
you still have to stick to the rules of the fund account. So you can't drop down your daily. You can't drop down more than 5%. If you do, you lose your funded account.
Wow.
If you lose more than 10%, so I'm on the $100,000 account. If I go down to below 90,000, I lose my funded account and I have to start over.
Wow.
Yeah. If my drawdown is more than 5% a day, then I lose my account. So you want to watch how many trades you're actually taking. Because if your drawdown and you have like, 5 or 8 trades and you're using large lot sizes and they all go down, say like I took 1% out, and I just did one lot, because that's 1% of my account is one lot. If I took 5 trades out and they all went down, that's 5%. I would lose my funded account.
I I just love that while you're in the challenge using other people's money, that you still have to be disciplined.
You do. If you maintain risk management, then it shouldn't be an issue. Uh,
Right.
as long as you're not opening too many trades and risking too much, you should be fine. Because even if, like, I've been in drawdown before, like I think the most is like $4,000 in a daily drawdown. Um, and it resets the next day. So when the Asian market opens, it resets the next day, so it goes back to the 5,000 or whatever. But as you're growing your fund, you get more of a daily drawdown. So like right now, mine's at like $5,500 is
Okay.
my daily drawdown. So the larger you grow your account, the more of a daily drawdown you have.
Oh, wow. Got it.
Yeah.
So it's a percentage, something to do with
It
percent.
it's 5% of your account. So
Got it.
if you have a $200,000 account, your daily drawdown is 10 grand.
Got it. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
No,
Yeah, someone asked me that question and I said, I don't know. All I know is ask author. No, I
yeah.
didn't. I
Well, and you reminded me of something that happened last night. Because I'm getting like all these like people that on both Telegram that, oh, I just joined Kakashix. They're like you kind of get the feeling that they're like scammers or trying to get you into
right,
their
right, right.
program. And then you have like the people on Facebook that are like friending you, and have similar friends, so I just assume that they're interested in Akashics or My Daily Choice or already in My Daily Choice. And then they start like having a conversation with you and asking about your trading history. Like I had one lady last night. She was like asking about the trading, and she said, "Oh, I have you been in it long?" And I said, "No, I'm new. I'm new as far as like August." And so she says, "Oh, I started in during COVID lockdown. I didn't do very well." And I'm like, "Oh, well, I'm doing well." And then I posted my results for the day. I'm number one out of 5,000 traders. I pulled $10,000 out, and I posted that. And then she sent me this long ass paragraph, like saying, "Oh, I found this one company that trades for me, and we make 15% a week." And I'm like, "Awesome! 15% a week is a bit high. That's 60% a month. I would like to see documented proof from when you started and the daily profit that you've made up until now. Can you send that to me? Because I have sent that to you.
Right.
Haven't heard anything."
Yeah. The way that some people market, I don't get it, Arthur. It'd be like they go to a Telegram group and it could be labeled happily married men. And so single women think they could come there and actually get the people to leave their wives.
Well, it's funny because
It is the craziest. I always say to these people, I go, who taught you to reach out to people that make as much money as I do and try to get them to be a new member under you? I go,
yeah.
I just don't understand how you can have that much rejection on a day-to-day basis, because it's the opposite of what I was taught. It's like all day, every day, I'm looking for interested people. And these people were taught to go to groups where everyone likes each other and try to get them to leave that group and come into theirs. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And her percent, she probably didn't think that I was going to do the math on what she sent me, but she said 15% weekly. And I'm like, that's a bit high. And I know because I'm the one that's doing the trading. And the most that
Right.
I've ever made in a month was like 25% growth. And you're talking 60% growth. I'm like, in 6 months, if you put 50,000 in, that's like $230,000. I'm like, that's ridiculous growth. I'm like, show it to me.
Thank you, Arthur. And on a side note for everyone, I just want to say, and listen to this, please. It's not the things that happen to you. The wind blows on everyone's sails. It's how you set your sail. All right. So that's Jim Rohn quote. I'm sure he got it from other people. But here's my point with that. When I hear how upset and annoyed people get when someone pitches them on something, that's another thing I just don't understand. How you would allow another person to pull you out of your joy, your happiness, and your emotional dreams and imagination. And I just see people, like me not understanding road rage. You know what I mean? When people reach out to me and say, hey, are you open? Or, hey, I'd like to have a conversation with you because I'm looking for a relationship. I'm not offended. I just say, no, thank you. Well, of course they keep pitching, but that's why they've invented block and delete. But I'm not going to allow anyone to reach out to me and talk to me or try to talk to me about another company and have it ruin my moment. Where as soon as I allow them to ruin a couple of seconds, then I want to reach out to Arthur and everyone on my team going, hey, there's a lot of scammers in this group. No, there's a lot of scammers in the world. They're not exclusive to Telegram or Akashic chats. They're in all the Telegram chats. They're on Facebook. They're on Instagram. They're on TikTok. It's like, come on. The one thing that I think that you all will get mad at me at, unless you thought the way I did, is I admire scammers because their consistency of piquing interest is something that I wish I could embody in everyone that watches this live or recorded. Can you imagine? They're all day, every day trying to scam people. And how much did they get rejected? I wish it was 100%, but it's not. And that's why they keep doing it. Can you imagine working for a telemarketing company or a company that scams people online and they tell you, listen, it's just what we do. It's going to be 1 in a million. But when we get the 1 out of a million, we usually make $1 million. And these people are just like, all right, I'm just going to reach out to everyone and say hi, and then how are you doing, and where do you live? Now it's time for the pitch.
Well, right now I have people stealing my photos and making fake profiles of me. It's like, this is like the second time this month, like in like 2
Yeah.
weeks.
That bothered me one time, and then I went, they're driving people toward me.
Yeah, I have people like ask me, they're like, did you send this? I'm like, no, I didn't. I'm like, they just keep like making fake profiles of me and
Yeah.
like saying we're gonna airdrop cryptocurrency or whatever they're trying to do, or I don't know what they're doing.
It's like it's one of those things where people that are in the know that if they're doing a skit on SNL about you, that you made it.
Yeah.
Now, I guarantee you that the skit that they're doing on you on SNL is probably not very flattering.
Yeah.
They're usually over accentuating something that you do. Like I could see someone doing me on SNL and how much of a big deal they would make out of my laugh. And it would be like, you just better get used to that because.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. It's, but when you report it like on Facebook, of course they don't want to like remove the profile. And I'm like, I think it's like a conspiracy with Facebook to make you pay for their blue check mark. I think it is.
Well, probably. So that's why I paid for the blue check mark. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I love you, Arthur. And again, I'm super proud of you, man. I'm
All right,
super
thank you.
proud of you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
let's
you
take
so
one
much.
more, Matt. Let's go with Kai and close her down.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you so much, Arthur, for your help. Kai, you're next up. I'm going to ask you to unmute. Are you with us, Kai?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. Awesome. Welcome.
Robert, you just brought something really, really profound on how to leveling up with some of the people who like are scammers and all that, or just straight up hating. And that I it just suddenly realized for me that those crappy attitudes don't even phase me anymore these days. It's like,
I'm
for example,
impressed with you, Kai. It's like
well, it's
because
bizarre.
it used to take up almost your whole day.
Oh yeah, like last night, I after posting like okay, okay, here's what's happened. I mean, it's been a nice trading week. I dropped an F bomb, which most people on Facebook know that I don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And this person like had the balls to say, "Oh, I cannot be in line with business with you because you dropped a profanity." I'm like, okay, and you don't post anything about your business either.
Yeah.
Obviously there was jealousy. There was jealousy. There was anger.
No, there's people,
that.
there's people, Kai, you know, we got a lot of words for them. Some of it is troll, but there's some people that are just made, their imagination is on the wrong side. It's not on the positive side, it's on the
Absolutely.
negative side. And because they're there, everything irritates them. It's funny. You know, the first time that I can remember when I went to a new school, I got taken away from my parents when I was like 13, 14 years old. And and I went to a school and people were teasing me. And this was on an Indian reservation. There was only one other white kid in the whole Indian school. And they were picking on me and they were saying, you don't have a father, because they knew I was in a foster home. You don't have a mom. And I remember coming home and his name was Chum Ladue. Man, this guy was like one of those wise Indians. Man, he was just, and he said to me, and he goes, Robert, why do you think they pick on you? And I was going, I don't know. And he says, because you react. I went, what? And he goes, if they walked up to you and said, ha ha, you don't have any mom and dad, and you never looked at them, you never made any smile, you just didn't do anything, then the reaction they were expecting for you didn't happen. And they'll leave you alone. And I said the stupid thing about, that is not as easy as you say it is. And he's going, you're right. That's the way you think. Now, this is a guy that had no education at all. You know, he was one of those old time guys that, you know, as soon as he could work on the ranch or work on the farm, there's really no reason to get an education. So he didn't even make it to junior high or high school, but wise. And I just went, okay. He said, well, just do me a favor. He said, give it a shot. Just try it. Next time they tease you, don't react. If you don't react, you're the winner.
Absolutely.
And then he said right behind it, he goes, now, when I said don't react, it's not the opposite. So if before it made you sad and it hurt your feelings, you don't want to have them say something and then you go, that doesn't hurt me. You know, so if you guys can remember being a kid, you know, well, same to you, Kai. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, it's like, they look at you and go, you don't have a father. Well, Kai, you don't have a father. You know what I mean? It's like, that's still a reaction. So he was telling me, you can't react at all.
Yeah.
Act like they're not, act like they're not there. And then I said, well, what if they hit me or push me? He says, like it didn't happen. They'll go pick on somebody else. And I was the kind of kid that it made me madder when they didn't bother me and they started picking on somebody else. So that's when I started learning the art of kicking someone's ass.
I mean, I didn't react to her statement of me dropping an F bomb. Everybody knows I drop F bombs. I don't give a bloody fuck.
Right.
But I got these results because I made it work.
Yeah.
End of the sentence. And then I deleted her comment completely.
Yeah. If you guys still see, if you guys seen, which if you catch some of them, I'm not perfect, but if you guys ever catch some of the unbelievable comments I get on YouTube videos, and I'll read them and I just start cracking laughing, and then I hide the channel from the person and I just move on. But some of the stuff that they say, I'm still human, so I want to react. And I don't. I just don't need them to take my time. So the way I would always react to people when they told me that I was overweight. You know what I mean? And I would say, yeah, but I can lose weight and you're still ugly. Or I'd say,
wow.
or I would say, I can lose weight, but you're still broke. You know what I mean? And nah, that was a phase. But you remember it, Kai, because it's when people say negative stuff about what you do and why you care. I remember when someone said to me, this looks like a pyramid scheme. And then I would go off on them. Well, you got a job? Yeah. You go to church? Yeah. You're in a pyramid scheme. Family's a pyramid scheme. You know what I mean? What do you mean? Well, the father's the head, and then you got wife, she's vice president. And then under there, you got a bunch of children. See, everything's a pyramid. And I don't ever remember reacting that way to somebody and they went, wow, what an enlightening moment. Okay, I'll get involved in your opportunity. if I overreacted and people got involved with me, then I would continue to do it. But I noticed that, and another thing is always having the peeing contest, right? Because if you believe that you're in the best opportunity in the world and then somebody isn't in your opportunity, then they have to be in an opportunity that's not as good as the one you're in. See what I mean? And I just more I hung around people that believed in abundance, I now believe that I wish there was hundreds of millions of network marketing companies that were all successful, that could just really beat down people. So when people realize that, the direct sales industry is 10 times larger than the NFL, and people are like, what? I go, yeah, Google it, AI it. The industry makes hundreds of millions of dollars a year. No one says that. And well, I guess, wait a minute. People do say the NFL is a scam.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. People say that everything's a scam. This lady reached out to me, and I know she's going to get in the business. And her name's Amanda. And she said to me, there's a lot of people that believe what you're doing is a scam. And this is how I react to it. And I said, well, I love people that will take the time to do the research. Are you one of those people? And she says, I am. I said, go to Google and put in Mother Teresa space scam. And I said, because there's whole groups out there on social media that think Mother Teresa is a scam. Princess Diana is a scam. You can find the nicest people on the planet. And there's people out there that thinks it's a scam and trashing it.
There's people who think the Catholic Church is a scam, but yet they still go to church. Imagine that.
So I'm proud of you, Kai. Thanks for bringing that up.
Thank you so much. And another really quick subject I want to tell Tim regarding to Joel Arias's tap to trades. His normal schedule is 7:30 Eastern time. I'm not sure what your time zone is, but 7:30 Eastern time through 9 a.m. a trade would happen. And then another trade would probably happen between 11 to 12:30. And now, give or take, depending on the market, he may pull another trade in between 12:30 to 3 o'clock to offset if that one trade goes negative. That is when Craig and I were talking about that one trade where both went positive because of that strategy. And then another trade would happen after 9 o'clock or even 6 o'clock p.m. at the latest because the Asian markets and then the London markets open. So a little quick heads up on that schedule. If you want to do the tap and trade strategy.
Got it.
Thank you,
All right.
Kai.
Thank you, Kai. Appreciate you guys. Matt, you got anything to end with?
I do. I have something that I've been working on for all of you. And you know, my dad kind of hinted at it a little bit earlier that I had worked on editing down some videos. Now, I don't know if we're in a place where we're going to want to share all those videos. You do have to be an Akashics member, so that's a requirement, but I did take the time to edit down a bunch of Joel's videos. But there's another thing that I did, right? Because I'm addicted to AI and I'm obsessed with it, and so I'm always trying to make things better. So what I did is I took all of the training that I edited with Joel, all the transcripts, all the time, and I put it into what we currently have as TradeStars GPT. So every single thing, at least to my knowledge, I've been testing it, and I want your guys' help with this. It's not absolutely 1,000,000% accurate because it's got a bunch of information. Arthur's probably the best guy to help with this. So if I asked TradeStars GPT, and anyone can use this, I'll give you guys the link in a second. If I said any of these things, like what lot size should I use? What is a pip? How do I value it? How do I start with the TradeStars group, right? So if someone gets sent this link and you go, how do I start with TradeStars? It's going to not only tell you the steps to join TradeStars, including the Telegram link, but it's going to tell you all the steps next that you have to do. Right?
Nice. Wow.
Make it a little bit easier on everybody to share this. So we'll go back to the TradeStars GPT here. And let's do lot size. So if I asked it, what lot size should I use for a 25,000 account? Now you could be more clear, right? On what you want. So it's going to do a little bit of math based off of what Joel said, right? So instead of having to watch the videos, even though I recommend you should, I'm the type of person that loves watching these videos. There's so much value. I just know for some of us that are not like the world's best note takers or don't have like the best memory, we might get a little like thrown off by it. Or maybe you upgrade your account to like 100,000 account and you're going, what do I do now? Right? Like what lot size should I have now? So it breaks all of this down based off of what was shared. You'll see specific lot sizes and everything here. So like I said, I do not know for everybody if all of this information is accurate. I would watch the videos. We're still training this and making it better. But based off of me asking it, saying I have a $25,000 account, it calculates based off of those 1 to 2% and the things that he says in the video, the amount of pips, the lot size, and then it will give me the exact amount. And I could ask it in more detail about that if I'm a little lost on it. Another option is, can you explain this more simple to me? Of course, it's still ChatGPT under the hood there. So every single element of ChatGPT is a part of TradeStars GPT, which basically means, you know, if I wanted to ask more detailed questions about the things that Joel shared in those lot size videos, in the reversion strategy videos, and you know, if you guys haven't seen this, that's me. But 1 second here. We go to YouTube Studio and we go to content. And like I said, we're still working on this stuff ourselves, but this is what I was up to while my dad was in Dubai, or not Dubai, geez, just not yet. But while you were in Budapest and Europe, is I went ahead and edited all these videos down, right? So we're still looking for, and I know this is a public channel, we're still in the process of figuring out whether these are okay to share outside of the platform. I just edited them down because I love watching videos and I know my dad wants to watch them. And what do I normally do? I'm like, let me edit these down so my dad can watch them. You know what I mean? And so they're useful for all you guys as well. But we'll see whether or not that's allowed. But you know what is allowed? TradeStars GPT. No one can stop them. So
can you put the link in the chat?
Yep, absolutely. So I will grab, currently I have a share link for it. That's for the chat itself. I'm going to actually, instead of making this more complicated than it needs to be, it will just be roberthollis.com/. What do you think would be a good one, Dad? That people could trade GPT?
Yeah.
Okay. So it'll be trade GPT. It's not up yet, but in a couple of minutes it will be. So just give me a couple minutes on that. You guys don't have to watch me do it. But that's my big announcement.
Man.
Dad, you don't have to stay on. I'm going to set up this link really, really quick. I know you have some fights that you want to get to. Thank you so much for being on here.
Sure.
But if you guys have any quick questions about this, you can raise your hand. I don't mind taking them really quick while I make the link and set it up for all you guys. So thank you guys so much for being on here. Love and appreciate you, Dad. And see you later. Thank you.
All right.
Anybody that has questions, you can stay.
I love you guys, and Matt's going to hang around. So I see Arthur already with his hand up. So
yeah, just a couple more minutes.
You guys are in great hands, and give Matt a hand for putting all that stuff together. I think that some of you could send Matt a private message, and Scott on here said, listen, I'd give Matt money for that link. So Matt, maybe you got a business opportunity here. All right.
You guys are already in it. So
I love you guys.
Utilize
Talk to you
stuff.
soon. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Thank you
Thanks,
so much,
Matt.
Dad. Love
ya.
and appreciate you. So I'm going to ask you to unmute, Arthur, if you want to hop on here with us. And let me see. It said recording stop, but we're still live on YouTube, I believe. So I'm not shutting that off just yet. But are you with us, Arthur?
I am. Are you going to like, how is it going to work, like with his new videos that he comes out with, that he does for his live sessions? Like, are you going to like incorporate that into the chat GPT too?
Yes. So the goal moving forward is to kind of figure out the steps. Like when I was editing Joel's videos, and that content is so good, you guys. Like it doesn't need the editing. It just half of it is in Spanish, and I know a lot of people don't speak Spanish. So I took the time to edit that out just for us English speakers, right? But with his training moving forward, as long as he's okay with it, I haven't had a private conversation with him yet about it, and that's why I'm not sharing the link to all these edited videos with you guys right now, because I believe I need to get an okay from him and from, I know Josh doesn't mind, but I want to get more conversations with Joel. He's such a great guy. But as far as the other trainings coming up go, I would love to edit those down if need be and transcribe them and feed those transcriptions right back into ChatGPT to train it. So that is the goal, is for it will get smarter the more he trains. So
I think that he's going to love it, and I think that it would ease some burden off of him, of everybody asking him questions.
Yes, that was a huge thing. And like that, if there's one spot like I can excel in helping in this area, it's like, how can I get this information to you guys quicker and easier from like the geniuses that have it? You know what I mean? Like if there's one thing that I love doing, is trying to simplify that process and make it easier for all of us to consume. I like to come in with like the Steve Jobs approach, right? And I'm like, how can I make this a touch screen for everybody, right?
And I did have one other question. I told you, Dad, I was going to ask you privately, but I'll just ask you here.
Yeah, why not?
As far as like the TradeStars group goes, I put some of the content in the social media promos tab. What I was talking to him about was that maybe for just like the TradeStars people, we can like create social media content, maybe like 30, 90 days or 120 days worth. That way it can be recycled, like more like generic, but we can have it all scheduled and put out on social media, so somebody has something different to post every single day. But like with all the social media posting, they have like a repost option. So every 120 days or every 6 months, it will repost a post that they had that posted like 6 months ago, for example. So I was thinking, maybe we can build something out or grow that tab out, and then people will always have something to post, and they can repost it, and because it'll be generic.
No, I love that idea, and I'm all for that. Like you guys are gonna see, not like I've said, you guys are gonna see a lot more graphics, a lot more videos, a lot more content in general coming through the TradeStars specifically to help support you guys through this process. And having the GPT is just part of this. Like my end goal is to train this TradeStars GPT to the point where like once someone becomes an Akashics member, you could just give them TradeStars GPT, and from that moment on, it can kind of guide them and what they need to learn or ask questions or where in the chat or where in the groups to find things. And this is one of those great things about about AI, right? Is that I could train it on the Telegram group and then it will be very quick and easy, right? All I have to do is shoot a video going through the Telegram group and then feed that into GPT. So people
So
could watch the video or they could ask. So
so the social media, like the graphics and stuff, that's like with the AI stuff, that's, I mean, you could do that. That's not like too much of a burden on you, is it?
no, you guys want to see?
I
Oh,
mean,
here, I'll
the
give
other
you guys
thing
a
that I
second.
did was I took the Akashic's presentation PDF. I uploaded it to
Mm-hmm.
ChatGPT, and then I
Brilliant
asked it
idea.
based on that presentation. I said, write me out 25 social media posts with a hook and a, a close, or a hook and a call to action. So
Mm-hmm.
it busted out 25, and I said, well, make me 25 more. And I just like kept doing that. So it came up, and I said different ones. So it came up with like all these different posts that I could make. I'm like, okay, well, all I need now is just like the graphics to go along with it.
Yeah, yeah. Like imagine if you took one of the amazing videos that Joel did or whatever, right? And you just wanted to share one great thing from it. You could give GPT the transcript from that and say, write me a script for a 30-second short and just read the script,
All right.
and share something really, really great with people. But what you're talking about, like listen, the AI tools are getting greater and greater. I know I've been lazy with talking about this stuff, but I'm like just diving back into it. Like I said, I was going through like a bunch of moving and stuff like that. But now that that's finished, this whole background, everything you're seeing here is AI stuff and things like that. But I'm very excited to show you guys how to utilize these tools yourselves for a lot of different things as well.
Well, maybe
So
we
the
should save
trade
that
stars
for
is just the beginning.
tomorrow. The what you're for the
Yes.
Imaginators call. Just save that stuff for tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I'm going to post, great idea, but I'm going to post the link here. I don't know if this works just yet. So we're going to all test it together and find out. So it should be up. It's roberthollis.com/trade GPT. So I'm going to post that in the chat there and then on YouTube. So that's roberthollis.com/trade GPT. And that should bring up the Trade Stars GPT. Like I said, still a work in progress. So when you go, what's my lot size or all these things, it might be a good idea to watch the videos as we're hammering through and working on this before you like what I'm basically saying is don't blame Trade Stars GPT for your losses, right? We're working on it. And as it gets better, it will get to the point where it can really, really help out. But I would still, this is just like an extra tool that you guys can utilize, right? And especially as far as like what do I do with a positive or negative account? Like there's certain things people have hit that Joel has covered really, really well in his videos, but like maybe you just have a quick question about it and you don't want to watch the whole video. Still recommend you find those videos and watch the whole things though. Does anybody else have any other questions? Is everybody able to click that link and go to it okay?
I already
Yes.
saved it in my sidebar.
Perfect. Yeah. And if you guys want to do that, let me show you how to do that. To save it into your guys' sidebar, you'll just click on it.
Oh,
Wow,
your face is in the
my
way.
camera's, of course. Okay, you're just gonna click on it when you have it open, and then you're gonna click, I have it on my sidebar. When you click show in sidebar, it'll show up here with a bunch of other GPTs and stuff. So then you can just go to it and open a chat with it at any time. Another thing that people don't know that you can do is if you just do you can just also say at TradeStars GPT and bring it in at any time into any chat. So one thing you'll see me do, I'm not going to do tutorials right now, but I'm just going to show you guys real quick. One thing I'll do is I'll do at VoxScript, which is like it takes the transcriptions from videos on YouTube. So then I could take VoxScript and I could take one of my dad's videos here, like even this Joel one. And then I could go into Chat GPT, wherever it may be. And then I could push this in and say, give me highlights. And what's interesting about this is if you bounce between the GPTs, it had an error, but you can bounce between GPTs and say, okay, like now that you've transcribed this video or given me steps on it, can you make me graphics based off of this? And it will shoot out some graphics because it's 4.0, so it can do it. Or write a script can you take this 15-minute video about Warren Buffett and give me slick 30-second script that I can make into a short to pique people's interest through shorts? Absolutely, I can, and it will do it. So, as always, as I say, it's good to say, as Sam Altman said, which is the CEO of ChatGPT and OpenAI, it's always a good idea to say thank you and please. Doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt to say thank you and please to GPT. So do that just in case if it comes after us all. But with that said, does anybody else have any other questions? 4.0 is like the base model. Everybody should be able to use that from the free on. So this GPT, from my understanding, I've been on the pro for like ever, but from my understanding, anyone can use this. I don't even think you need an account to use it. Let me see. It's funny because this is like more how like yeah, you do have to sign up to chat with it, but it looks like you can sign up and just chat with it without pro or anything. So thank you guys so much for being on here. Thanks for spending your Saturdays. Tomorrow at noon Pacific time, we're doing the Imaginators call. That will be exciting. I don't mind answering way more questions about this stuff over there, and also like showing you guys how I built this TradeStars GPT, because believe it or not, any person on this call could take any information about anything and train something like this to help other people along the process, right? That's one of the things that I love about this technology so much, is we could take someone that has as much knowledge as Joel and utilize artificial intelligence so you don't have to ask Joel a million questions, right? Joel can actually just be the expert and continue to practice. So thank you guys once again. Talk to you guys later. Closing this out. See you guys. Thank you so much. I'm going to ask you guys to unmute. Thank you so much once again, Arthur, for all your help. Really, really appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Let me see here. I don't even know where I'm supposed to go to unmute all. There it is. Ask all to unmute. Thank you, everybody.
See you,
All right,
Matt. Thanks so
Matt.
much.
Thank you.
See
Everybody,
all,
appreciate
buddy.
y'all.
Thank you.
Good stuff.
Bye, everybody.
See you tomorrow.
Have a great Saturday.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you guys for
Bye-bye.
your questions and your time. Thank you. Thanks to Rome, Karen, Coach Bob, Arthur, Jamie, Mike, Tom, Shelly, Daniel, Ola.
Hola.
Thank you, Matthew.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. Peter